Most people believe that the most expensive decisions in life are big ones: buying a house, starting a business, quitting a job, getting married. But what if I told you that the most expensive decision you will ever make is actually a very small one? So small that you probably make it every single day without thinking twice. And by the time you realize what it has cost you, years are already gone, money is already gone, opportunities are already gone. And the worst part? No one ever warned you about it. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you're going to see your own life differently. And once you see it, you can never unsee it. Before we go any further, let me say this clearly. If you're someone who wants to understand money, decisions, and how small choices quietly shape your financial future, then you're in the right place. This is Money Spectrum, where we break down money and life in a way that actually makes sense. If you want more content like this, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us reach more people who need to hear this message. Now let's continue, because what I'm about to explain could save you years of regret. Let me ask you a simple question. Have you ever looked back at your life and thought, if I had just done that one thing differently, my life would be completely different today? Not a huge dramatic moment. Not a big risky move. Just a small decision, a delay, a distraction, a choice to stay comfortable for a little longer. That's the decision we're talking about today. The most expensive small decision you'll ever make. Most people think money problems come from low income, or bad luck, or the economy, or not getting the right opportunities, but that's not true. Real financial damage doesn't come from one big mistake. It comes from thousands of tiny decisions that feel harmless in the moment, decisions that don't hurt today, but quietly steal from your future. Let me tell you a story. Imagine two friends, same age, same background, same city, same education. Let's call them Alex and Brian. Both of them graduate at 22. Both of them get average jobs, nothing fancy. Just enough to pay the bills and have some fun on weekends. At this point, their lives look identical. Now here's where the small decision shows up. Alex tells himself, I'll start thinking seriously about money later. Right now, I want to enjoy life. Brian tells himself, I'll still enjoy life, but I want to understand where my money is going. That's it. That's the decision. No dramatic sacrifice. No extreme lifestyle, just awareness versus delay. Alex doesn't track his spending. He upgrades his phone every year because everyone else does. He eats out a little too often. He subscribes to things he barely uses. He tells himself it's fine because he is not in debt and he is still young. And honestly, it feels fine. Nothing bad happens. Life goes on. Brian, on the other hand, doesn't become extreme either. He still eats out. He still travels. He still enjoys himself, but once a month he looks at his numbers. He asks simple questions. Where did my money go? Could I do slightly better next month? He starts saving a small amount. Not because he has a big plan, but because he doesn't want future stress. Fast forward 5 years. Alex feels like time flew by. He doesn't know where his money went, but somehow he has nothing to show for it. Brian isn't rich either, but he has options. He has savings. He has confidence. He has momentum. The difference between them wasn't intelligence or luck or talent. It was a small decision repeated over time. This is how the most expensive small decision works. It doesn't scream, it whispers. It says, not now. It says, later. It says, you deserve this. It says, everyone else is doing it. And because there's no immediate pain, your brain assumes there's no cost. But there is always a cost. The real cost of small decisions is not the money you spend today. It's the life you can't live tomorrow. Most people don't fail financially. They drift. They slowly move away from the life they could have built, one comfortable choice at a time. And because nothing breaks all at once, they don't notice until it's too late. Think about this. Every time you delay learning how money works, someone else is learning it. Every time you choose comfort over growth, someone else is building discipline. Every time you say, I'll start next year, time keeps moving anyway. This is why this decision is so expensive. Because time is the one thing you can never earn back. At Money Spectrum, we talk a lot about income, investing, and mindset. But all of that comes after this one thing. Awareness, the moment you start paying attention. The moment you stop letting small decisions run on autopilot. Here's the truth no one likes to hear. Most people are not broke because they don't earn enough. They're broke because they never decided to take control early enough. They let habits form, They let lifestyle creep happen. They let years pass without direction. And, again, this doesn't feel dangerous at first. In your 20s, delaying feels harmless. In your 30s, it feels uncomfortable. In your 40s, it feels painful. And in your 50s, it feels irreversible. This is why the most expensive decision is the decision to do nothing, to wait, to postpone, to assume things will somehow work out. Let's talk about the psychology behind it. Your brain is wired to prioritize comfort today over security tomorrow. That's not your fault. That's biology. Immediate rewards feel real. Future consequences feel abstract. Spending $5 today feels small. But spending $5 every day for 10 years? That number never appears in front of you, so your brain ignores it. The same goes for skills. Skipping one workout doesn't matter. Not reading one book doesn't matter. Not learning about money this month doesn't matter. Until you stack those decisions over years. This is why people wake up one day and say, "How did I end up here?" They didn't fall. They walked there slowly. Now I want you to pause for a moment and think about your own life. Not in a dramatic way, just honestly. What is one small decision you keep delaying? Maybe it's tracking your expenses. Maybe it's investing. Maybe it's learning a high-income skill. Maybe it's fixing your spending habits. You already know what it is. Everyone does. And if this video is already making you uncomfortable, that's a good sign. It means you're seeing the truth. Let me be clear about something. This video is not about guilt. It's about power. Because the same small decisions that destroy futures can also build them. The good news is, small decisions work both ways. The same way $5 wasted daily can destroy wealth, $5 invested daily can create it. The same way avoiding learning keeps you stuck, learning a little every week moves you forward. The same way procrastination compounds, discipline compounds too. But it all starts with awareness. Most people never have this conversation with themselves. They stay busy, they stay distracted. They stay entertained. And then they blame the system when they feel stuck. But the system didn't force them to ignore the small choices. Here's another uncomfortable truth. If you don't decide how your money is used, someone else will decide for you. Advertisers, corporations, algorithms. They are very good at convincing you that small spending doesn't matter. And they're right. It doesn't matter to them. It matters to you. This is why understanding money is not optional anymore. It's survival. And it starts with noticing the small decisions you make every day. We're not talking about becoming extreme. We're talking about becoming intentional. Over the next parts of this video, we're going to break down exactly how this small decision shows up in your daily life, why smart people still fall into the trap, and how you can reverse years of damage without needing a massive income or a perfect plan. But before we go deeper, I want you to do one thing. If you're getting value from this so far, make sure you've liked the video and subscribed to Money Spectrum. It tells the algorithm this content matters. And it helps us keep making videos that actually help people think differently about money. Now here's where things start getting uncomfortable, because this small decision doesn't just show up once. It shows up every single day, disguised as normal life. It hides inside habits so common that no one questions them. This is where most people lose control without realizing it. Let's talk about lifestyle creep. Lifestyle creep is one of the quietest wealth killers in the world. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't feel dangerous. It feels like progress. You get a raise, so you upgrade your car. You make a little more money, so you move into a nicer place. You feel stressed, so you reward yourself. And every single step feels justified. Here's the problem. Your income goes up, but your awareness stays the same. So instead of building freedom, you build obligations. The car payment feels normal. The subscriptions feel small. The dining out feels deserved. And because everyone around you is doing the same thing, it feels safe. It feels like adulthood. It feels like success. But under the surface, something dangerous is happening. Your future is getting more expensive. Most people don't realize this, but the goal isn't just to make more money. The goal is to keep more control. And lifestyle creep slowly takes that control away. Let's go back to Alex and Brian. 5 years in, Alex finally gets a decent raise. He feels proud. He feels validated. He feels like things are finally moving, and immediately his life adjusts. New car, better apartment, more nights out, more convenience. More "I deserve this." Again, nothing feels wrong. He's not reckless, he's just normal. Brian also gets a raise. But instead of upgrading everything, he pauses. Not because he's cheap, but because he's intentional. He asks a simple question. If my life didn't change at all, where would this extra money go? That question alone changes everything. Brian increases his savings. He invests more. He keeps his lifestyle almost the same, not forever, just for now. He's buying time, he's buying options. Alex, on the other hand, locks himself into higher fixed costs. And fixed costs are dangerous because they don't care how you feel later. They don't care if you lose motivation. They don't care if life changes. This is where the small decision becomes expensive. Every time you increase your lifestyle before increasing your control, you're making your future more fragile. And here's the scary part. You don't feel fragile when things are going well. You feel powerful until something unexpected happens. A job loss, a health issue, a family emergency, an economic slowdown. Suddenly, Alex realizes that most of his income is already spoken for. He can't move easily. He can't take risks. He can't say no. He's trapped by decisions that once felt like rewards. Brian feels the stress too. But he has breathing room, he has flexibility. He has time to think instead of panic. This is why freedom is not about how much you earn. It's about how much pressure your life puts on your income. Now let's talk about another version of the same small decision, the "I'll fix it later" mindset. This mindset is incredibly common, especially among smart people. I'll start investing when I make more money. I'll learn about finances when things calm down. I'll budget when I really need to. And again, none of these statements are wrong, they're just delayed. But here's the truth. Later is more expensive than now. Every year you delay learning about money, the cost isn't just missed returns. It's missed confidence, missed experience, missed mistakes that could have been cheap early on. People think starting later means starting stronger. In reality, it means starting under pressure. When you're young, mistakes are forgiving. When you're older, mistakes are terrifying. That's why the most expensive small decision is waiting until you feel ready. No one ever feels ready. Read that again. No one ever feels ready. The people who look disciplined now didn't start disciplined. They started confused. They started unsure. They started imperfect. The difference is, they started. At Money Spectrum, one of the most common messages we get is from people saying, "I wish I had found this channel earlier." And that sentence carries a lot of pain. Because what they're really saying is, I made the small decision to ignore this for too long. Now let's talk about the emotional side of this, because money decisions are rarely logical. They're emotional. People spend money to feel better, to feel successful, to feel normal, to feel included, to feel in control. And again, that's human. The problem is when spending becomes the default solution to emotional discomfort. Bad day? Spend. Stressful week? Spend. Feeling behind in life? Spend. And because the amounts are small, the habit never triggers alarm bells. But habits don't care about size. They care about repetition. A $10 habit repeated daily is more dangerous than a $1,000 mistake made once. And here's where it gets even more uncomfortable. Most people are not actually addicted to spending. They're addicted to avoidance. Avoiding boredom. Avoiding discomfort. Avoiding self-reflection. Tracking your money forces you to face reality. Learning about finances forces you to admit what you don't know. Saying no to yourself forces discipline. So instead, people distract themselves. And distraction is expensive. Think about how many hours are spent consuming content that adds nothing. How much mental energy goes into comparing lifestyles? How much money goes into convenience instead of progress? Again, none of this feels like a big mistake. It just feels like life. Until you zoom out. Zooming out is scary because it reveals patterns, and patterns reveal responsibility. This is why most people never zoom out. But you're here. You're watching this. Which means something inside you already knows there's more. Let me tell you something important. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to cut everything. You don't need to live like a monk. You just need to stop pretending small decisions don't matter. Because they matter more than big ones. Big decisions happen rarely. Small decisions happen daily. And daily decisions shape identity. You don't wake up wealthy, you wake up consistent. You don't wake up broke either, you wake up careless over time. Now let's talk about something most people never connect to money: identity. The small decisions you make are votes for the type of person you become. When you choose awareness, you vote for responsibility. When you choose delay, you vote for comfort. When you choose discipline, you vote for freedom. And these votes compound. That's why two people can start at the same place and end up in completely different lives without any dramatic difference in talent or opportunity. They just voted differently. As this video continues, we're going to talk about how to reverse this process, even if you feel like you're already behind. Because here's another truth people don't talk about enough: it's never too late to make better small decisions. But it does get more expensive the longer you wait. So if at any point you're thinking, this is hitting a little too close to home, that's not an accident. That's awareness waking up. And awareness is the first step to control. At this point, most people start asking the same question. If small decisions matter so much, why does everyone talk about big moves, big investments, big risks, big breakthroughs, big wins? The answer is simple. Big stories are exciting. Small realities are boring. And boredom doesn't sell hope. So people chase the illusion of the big win. They think one lucky break will erase years of small mistakes, one viral moment, one perfect investment, one business idea that changes everything. And while they're chasing that fantasy, they ignore the quiet habits that actually build wealth. This is another version of the same expensive small decision. Choosing excitement over consistency. Let me explain how this trap works. Someone hears about a stock that went up 300%. Or a crypto that made early investors rich. Or a business that exploded overnight. Suddenly, slow progress feels stupid. Saving feels pointless. Learning feels too slow. So they wait. They watch. They hope. They tell themselves, I'll jump in when the right opportunity comes. But while they're waiting, nothing is happening. No foundation is being built. No skill is improving. No discipline is forming. And when an opportunity finally does appear, they're not ready. They don't understand risk. They don't understand timing. They don't understand themselves. So they either miss it, or they panic, or they make emotional decisions. This is how people lose money while chasing big wins. The irony is painful. The people who actually benefit from big opportunities are usually the ones who spent years doing small, boring things before anyone was watching. Let's look at Alex and Brian again. Alex hears about a friend who made money fast. Suddenly, he feels behind. So he tries to jump ahead. He invests money he doesn't fully understand. He takes risks without a safety net. He expects quick results because that's what the story promised. When things don't go perfectly, fear kicks in. He sells too early. He regrets too late. He tells himself investing is dangerous. Brian hears the same stories. But instead of chasing them, he asks questions. He studies patterns. He understands that big wins are rare and usually come after long preparation. So when opportunities come, he doesn't rush, he evaluates, he already has habits, he already has capital. He already has emotional control. This difference is invisible in the beginning, but it becomes massive over time. Here's a truth that sounds boring but changes everything. Wealth is built through systems, not moments. Moments get attention, systems get results. The most expensive small decision is believing that success happens in moments instead of routines. That belief keeps people stuck in cycles of hope and disappointment. Hope feels good. Discipline feels boring. But hope without action is expensive. Another reason people chase big wins is because small wins don't change identity fast enough. Saving a little doesn't make you feel rich. Learning slowly doesn't make you feel smart. Saying no to yourself doesn't make you feel successful. So people avoid those actions. They want transformation without repetition. But repetition is where power comes from. Every financially stable person you admire has done thousands of small things right. Not perfectly, just consistently. Now let's talk about time, because this is where the real cost becomes clear. Time doesn't care about intentions. It only responds to action. You can have the best plans in the world. If you delay execution, time keeps moving anyway. This is why two people with the same income can have completely different financial lives 10 years later. One used time. The other wasted it. And wasted time doesn't disappear. It compounds against you. This is why people in their 40s say things like, I don't know where the years went. They went into small decisions that didn't feel important. Scrolling instead of learning. Spending instead of investing. Waiting instead of starting. Again, none of these are crimes. They're just expensive. At Money Spectrum, we often say that money is just stored time. When you waste money, you're really wasting the hours of your life it took to earn it. When you invest money wisely, you're protecting your future time. This is why small decisions matter so much. Because they decide how much of your future time belongs to you. Because they decide how because they decide how much of your future time belongs. Now let's talk about fear, because fear is another silent driver of bad small decisions. Fear of making mistakes. Fear of looking stupid. Fear of starting late. So people choose inaction. But inaction is not neutral. It's a decision, and it has consequences. Choosing not to learn is a decision. Choosing not to plan is a decision. Choosing not to track is a decision. And these decisions quietly vote against your future self. The people who win financially are not fearless. They're just willing to be uncomfortable earlier. They accept small discomfort now to avoid massive stress later. Most people do the opposite. They avoid small discomfort now and accept massive stress later. That trade-off is the most expensive one of all. Now I want to say something important, especially if you're feeling overwhelmed right now. You don't need to fix everything at once. Trying to overhaul your entire life usually fails. It creates pressure, guilt, and burnout. The goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to interrupt the pattern. One small decision changed everything in the wrong direction. One small decision can change it back. Not tomorrow, today, not dramatically, quietly. The moment you start paying attention, the system starts working for you instead of against you. At this stage, most people finally ask the question that actually matters. Okay, I get it. Small decisions matter. But what do I do now? And this is where things usually go wrong because people overcomplicate the answer. They think fixing the problem requires extreme discipline, massive income, perfect timing, or some secret strategy that only experts know. That belief alone keeps them stuck. The truth is much simpler and much more powerful. You don't fix expensive small decisions with big dramatic changes. You fix them with better small decisions. The goal is not to transform your life overnight. The goal is to change the direction. Imagine a plane flying slightly off course. The passengers don't notice. Everything feels fine. But over hours, that small angle leads to a completely different destination. Fixing that doesn't require a violent turn, just a small correction. Your financial life works the same way. The first correction is awareness. Not judgment, awareness. Most people avoid looking at their numbers because they're afraid of what they'll see. But numbers are not enemies. They're information. And information is power. You don't need a perfect budget. You just need visibility. When you know where your money goes, your behavior changes automatically. You spend slower. You question more. You pause. That pause alone saves money. The second correction is identity. Stop asking, what should I do with my money? And start asking, what kind of person do I want to be? Do you want to be someone who panics during uncertainty or someone who stays calm because they prepared? Do you want to rely on luck or on systems? Your small decisions should match that identity. This is why habits matter more than motivation. Motivation fades. Identity stays. When you see yourself as someone who's learning, you naturally learn. When you see yourself as someone who's intentional, you naturally pause before spending. This shift is subtle, but it changes everything. Now let's talk about rebuilding confidence, because this is where many people quit mentally. They think, I'm already behind. What's the point? That thought is dangerous. Not because it's emotional, but because it's expensive. Feeling behind often leads to one of two mistakes. Either people give up completely, or they take reckless risks trying to catch up. Both destroy progress. Here's the reality. You're not behind, you're just early in awareness. Everyone starts where they start. The only thing that matters is the next small decision. Wealth is not built by age, it's built by consistency. There are people who started at 40 and ended up more secure than those who started at 20 but never paid attention. Time helps, but direction matters more. Another powerful correction is learning to delay gratification without feeling deprived. This is where most people misunderstand discipline. Discipline is not punishment, it's choosing a better reward. Instead of asking, what do I want right now? Ask, what do I want more? Do you want the item or do you want peace of mind? Do you want the upgrade or do you want options? Do you want comfort today or freedom tomorrow? You're not saying no. You're saying later and better. This mindset alone changes spending behavior without guilt. At Money Spectrum, we don't believe in extreme sacrifice. We believe in conscious trade-offs. Every dollar has a job. Either it entertains you now or it supports you later. Neither is wrong. What's wrong is pretending the choice doesn't exist. Another small but powerful decision is automation. When good behavior is automatic, willpower becomes irrelevant. Automatic savings, automatic investments, automatic bill tracking. This removes emotion from the process. Most bad decisions happen when emotions are high and systems are weak. Strong systems protect you from yourself. Now let's address something most people don't talk about. Comparison. Comparison quietly pushes people into expensive decisions. You don't upgrade because you need to. You upgrade because someone else did. You don't spend because you plan to. You spend because you don't want to feel behind. Social media amplifies this pressure. You see highlights, not reality. Results, not process. Spending, not saving. If you don't consciously limit comparison, it will hijack your decisions. The solution is not isolation. It's perspective. You don't need to win someone else's race. You need to finish your own. Every time you resist unnecessary comparison, you save money and mental energy. That's a double return. As this video approaches its final part, I want you to understand something deeply. The most expensive small decision is not about money. It's about attention. What you pay attention to grows. What you ignore decays. If you ignore your finances, they weaken. If you ignore your habits, they control you. But if you pay attention, even imperfectly, things improve. Attention creates course correction. And course correction creates momentum. In the final part, we're going to bring everything together. The story, the psychology, the decisions, and we're going to end with one question that will stay with you long after this video ends. If you remember nothing else from this video, remember this one idea. Your life is not shaped by the big decisions you talk about. It's shaped by the small decisions you repeat. The ones no one sees. The ones that feel harmless. The ones you justify. Those are the decisions writing your future right now. The most expensive small decision you'll ever make is choosing comfort over awareness. Choosing delay over direction. Choosing distraction over discipline. And the reason it's so expensive is because it charges you slowly, quietly over time. It doesn't ask for everything at once. It just takes a little today, a little tomorrow, and a little more next year. Until one day, you look back and realize how much it took. Most people never connect the dots. They blame the economy. They blame bad luck. They blame not earning enough. But deep down, they know the truth. They ignored the small choices because they didn't feel urgent. Urgency is a liar. It only shows up when it's already late. The good news is, you're not late, you're here. And that matters more than you think. The fact that you watched this far tells me something about you. It tells me you're not just looking for motivation. You're looking for understanding. You're looking for control. And control doesn't come from dramatic moves. It comes from clarity. Right now, somewhere in your life, there's a small decision waiting for you. You already know which one it is. Maybe it's tracking your spending. Maybe it's learning instead of scrolling. Maybe it's saying no to one unnecessary expense. Maybe it's finally starting instead of waiting. Whatever it is, that decision is standing quietly at the door. It doesn't demand attention. It doesn't create pressure. It just waits. And every day you ignore it, it becomes a little more expensive. But here's the part most people never realize. The same decision that quietly destroys futures can quietly rebuild them too. The moment you choose awareness, the system starts working for you. The moment you choose intention, progress begins. The moment you choose consistency, momentum follows. You don't need to catch up. You just need to stop drifting. Drifting is expensive. Direction is powerful. This is what we believe at Money Spectrum. Not shortcuts. Not hype. Not overnight success. Just clarity, consistency, and control. If this video made you reflect even a little, then it did its job. Now I want to hear from you. What is one small decision you've been delaying that you know you shouldn't ignore anymore? Write it in the comments, not for me, for yourself. Because naming it gives it power. And if you think this video could help someone else see what they're missing, share it with them. Most people don't need motivation, they need perspective. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to Money Spectrum. We're here to help you think clearly about money, decisions, and the life those decisions create. Remember this: big changes don't start loud. They start quiet. And the smallest decision you make today might be the most valuable one you ever make.